Yeah, hi everyone. So my name is Mark Berry. I run the customer success and partner success teams at FinTech OS. So I'm responsible for making sure that our customers and our partners are achieving the objectives that they set when they invest in FinTech OS. And I'm joined today by one of our key customers, really. One of our somebody who's been with us for a while as a customer. Peter from TBI Bank. And Peter, if I could hand over to you just to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mark. My name is Peter Baron. I'm leading the change of TBI from a traditional lender to a fintech lending champion with a digital model across South Eastern Europe.
So Peter, so I think when we first thought about this this webinar and the subject of innovation, you and TBI was very much at the forefront of our thoughts in terms of having this conversation and exploring the topic. When we first met and you first introduced and described TBI Bank to me, you used the phrase that you see it as a mix between N26, Klarna, and Monzo, which obviously is quite an interesting mix and quite an ambitious statement. So I wondered if you could for me and for the audience expand on that and tell us exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it is quite a unique model that we are pursuing. There are very few banks, if any, actually, which are have a similar vision to what we're trying to build out here. But the best way, I guess, to explain it is to look at it from three parts. So first part would be customer acquisition part. And this part for us is driven mainly by our merchant solutions capabilities, where we basically power merchants from largest retailers to small mom and pop, in-store or offline or in a hybrid models to basically sell more. So mainly this is done through loans, but not only. We are providing analytical capabilities, we are providing campaign management capabilities, we are providing to them tools. And at this moment, the customer, the B2C customer, he doesn't really care about any banking product. What he cares about is a service or a product that he is interested in consuming and spreading the payments over. So this is a moment where the customer is onboarded into our business. Then comes the engagement part, and in this part, basically what we do is we run a number of algorithms where we create a credit line behind every customer, and the customer has an IBAN and a payment instrument, and he knows that he has a limit available to him whenever he needs it for any purpose. So the first interaction was with a clear purpose. The second one, the money is there available for him for whatever need that might arise. And he is then moving on to the third stage, or already the stage of retention, where basically we provide to him a mobile banking capability, where he is able to do all the standard banking transactions, daily banking from his IBAN account, transfers, daily payments, FX, etc., etc. But at the same time, he has a credit line and, of course, our sexy neon card, onto which he just able to tap a couple of buttons and upload the limit directly into his account and then go and shop again in our partner merchants, which will be in the future also integrated directly into this app. So we're kind of building an overall experience for both B2B customers, where we really focus on increasing their sales and bringing value through this, and then to our B2C customers, which are able to then already shop free across multiple merchants with interesting deals, which our merchant partners provide to them.
Okay, great, that makes sense. And so I guess from a technology perspective, then how have you leveraged technology, whether that's obviously with FinTech OS or other sources to help build that, and what challenges have you had to overcome? Because obviously I think it's fair to say innovation in banking or especially within a traditional bank it is quite difficult a lot of the time, in the sense of you have things like regulation, compliance, cost controls. A lot of consumers are not, fully aware of these types of services, not always used to these types of services being provided by the bank. A lot of consumers still look at the bank as just somewhere where their monthly salary goes. So how have you, implemented and leveraged technology to achieve this? And I guess what challenges have you had to overcome in order to do it?
Well, look, I mean, in today's world, technology is name of the game. There is no way to build a successful, scalable business. And just so that you understand the numbers, last year we processed over 1 million applications. And you can only do that where you have a strong systems behind and smooth processes, business processes, and customer journeys to support that. Especially if you're trying to do it across multiple channels, as we do. So for this, we've kind of, built, of course, our go-to architecture, where we saw that our systems should interact and should operate in order to provide the best speed to market at the end of the day. And here, actually, FinTechOS was a very helpful component of this, because as every bank, and TBI was a bank which, well, it was a consumer finance company with a banking license. But we are now building out into really a kind of a full-scale consumer experience organization with a banking license. And for this, it's very important to combine some tools which are available off the shelf, and we use some technology which, for example, Apple uses to power to give Goldman Sachs a card, right? Or Klarna uses for decision making. Or for onboarding tools that are used by Revolut. But some tools, of course, you need to build yourself, and you need to create the expertise of integrating these tools and putting them together. FinTechOS was actually a very useful solution for us, because originally when we started, of course, I wanted to go quick, and we wanted to get some things out into the market to show what we're capable of, and then start building on top of that already in both directions, kind of up into more front ends, and then also back in terms of more core systems and the ability to really utilize data as much as possible. And FinTechOS was the solution that we started with to put as this a real layer of interaction on top of the legacy systems that as any organization which was already operating on the market has, right? And then from there, we could already start replacing the other components to really kind of streamline the processes inside, both from point of view of cost optimization, but also from a perspective of really being able to come to market faster than our competition, because that's the name of the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so obviously, so it's clear, that you, and you have a background, obviously in the banking industry over your career and stuff. And so it's, I think it's fair to say and clear that you have, an innovative first mindset, technology driven. How do you distill that down into your organization? Because obviously, you're the person setting the vision and you're the person at the top, but in terms of actually, putting things in place and moving, the company forward, you need to make sure that obviously is mirrored, all the way down in terms of, for example, not being afraid to take risks, not being afraid to fail with certain things, which is part and parcel of innovation, part and parcel, especially, as I've said, within finance and within banking. So how do you accomplish that?
Well, it's a great question. And look, I mean, for me, it's a continuous journey. In reality, for our organization, it's a continuous journey, or every organization that I personally work in. But it always starts with one thing, is the right mindset. Right? You do need to instill that mindset amongst your team and bring on board the people, or turn around the people and give them the freedom to make mistakes, right? I mean, I always believe that banks are very good as organizations of protecting themselves in. So to make a critical mistake, unless you're Nick Leeson, right, it tends to be very difficult by one person, right? But you cannot innovate, you cannot create without trying new things. And when you try new things, you do make mistakes, right? So, of course, here it's a mix of experience of the people. It's a desire of people to do something different, to do something new, to do something cool, but also having that mindset and comfort that if I make a mistake, I'm not going to get executed, right? I'm not going to get thrown out of the organization, right? It's going to be a common learning. And really, instilling this mindset into the team is my key role, right? And is a role of all the senior team, because of course I'm not alone. I'm capable of doing. In a bank, you cannot do anything alone, in principle, and that's part of risk management already embedded into the banking model. But to succeed, in order to really drive things forward, in order to be really competitive, agile, healthy, aggressive, you need a team which has that mindset of wanting to stand out. And we, as an organization, have come already. It's already been a journey of 4 years. And again, to tell you, are we done? No. But will I tell you that we're ever done? Never. Because it is a constant process. And on many walls around this building, we have signs with phrase Kaizen, right? Because it is a continuous improvement process of organization in everything that we do. But as long as the mindset is shared, as long as the culture is there and the values are there of organization, you get it done.
So on that point, obviously, we've been through what we've been through over the last 6, 7, 8, 9 months. How is that, if at all, affected TBI from the perspective of innovation? I think we've heard a lot about COVID being an accelerant, and obviously those firms that maybe weren't well positioned to deal from a digital perspective, from an online perspective, to deal with the shift that we've seen. How has that impacted you and TBI, and how do you see the continuing impact moving forward, once we get back to, if we ever get back to some semblance of, if I can use normality?
Yeah. Well, frankly, it hasn't impacted us significantly. Yes, it has impacted slightly the bottom line of the business, because unlike majority of the fintechs out there, we are actually a profitable business. But in reality, considering that we were already moving into this into a future in a very high pace, the only thing that's really impacted is the fact that we understand now that the other guys which were sitting around and sleeping in majority of cases and talking on conferences about digitalization, et cetera, right, are now beginning to also deploy much bigger budgets, and it is creating more pressure, I guess, on us to move even faster. But overall, we haven't changed our approach, our strategy, our vision. Yes, of course, majority of people are working right now from home, and we have to get used to that. But in terms of a pace, nothing has changed from our perspective. We are still on the same strategy. We are still deploying the same technology. We are still open-minded. We are still experimenting. We're still partnering up, and we're still driving ahead exactly the same agenda as we had before. But yes, I do understand that probably somebody is beginning to wake up somewhere. However, I think the advantage of that mindset already being instilled in our team gives us a edge above others, and that's what we're going to continue building on.
Yeah, and so just following on from that, and I think the final point is looking ahead, looking forward. So I think what I've seen, certainly over the last 6 months, and you've just mentioned it yourself, is that if anything, the coronavirus situation has really highlighted the difference and the different positioning between those banks, those companies like yourself, who were already operating with that digital first mindset, and those that weren't. And it's really now an opportunity for the first of those to accelerate forward and actually take in a way take advantage of the situation we're now in.
That's exactly what happened, right? Because all that we saw, because we operate a digital model. Yeah. Which means that we have both mobile, online, and physical locations. All that we saw was just a shift of demand and uptake of our digital services from more of our kind of core customer base. That was in essence. That's all that happened. But the pace continued, and we will continue the same pace of moving ahead.
Yeah, thanks for your time. And I think, TBI is a really interesting story. And hopefully, it's something which, that people listening to can relate to and learn from. So thanks for your time, Petr.